Hi, welcome back to another episode of the Empath Sisters. I'm Bev.
Hi, I'm Shelly.
Welcome back. So, last episode, Shelly and I talked about moon phases and I guess releasing rituals, basically, is
Yeah,
what it's like. So, we talked about the different phases, what they can offer, and what you can do with each of the phases and what kind of happens through the phases, maybe just to kind of bring some extra awareness into your own life and kind of in your journey. And Shelly and I talked about how we do our releasing rituals
yeah.
around the full moon and what we use for tools as well. So,
Mhm.
yeah, how was your releasing ritual? Do anything special?
I didn't, only because
Oh, yeah, you were in the move.
I was, yeah, I was actually in a move, so I really didn't actually get to do really any ritual.
Okay.
I did have a hard time, and I should have probably done the ritual
Oh,
because I did not like I feel like it was like 2 days before for sure,
mhm.
and the night of, and then probably 2 days after, I totally did not sleep. Like I had,
Oh,
yeah, it was just, yeah, I
yeah,
probably should have. But at the same time, I was super busy, and like I said, we were in a move and we were at different places. And it's not like I didn't feel, I don't even know how to explain it. It was more like, I know that wherever we stayed, they wouldn't have had a problem if I did my ritual, but at the same time, I
yeah,
just felt like it wasn't my space. Do you know what I
right.
mean? So it
Totally.
just didn't feel right. So I didn't, but I probably should have.
Yeah.
I did try to, make so that I was a little bit more grounded, but at the same time, like it just was just not like, it was just like, yeah, like that too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Whole lot of feels. Full
yeah,
moon,
yeah,
probably a lot of stress,
yeah,
emotions, not in your
yeah.
own space.
No,
That's a lot. It's a
yeah,
lot
and like we were
to
in one
deal
place and
with.
then we went to another, so it was just,
Yeah.
it was a lot. And so I really didn't have a chance to really, yeah, do the ritual, which like I said, I wish I would have and I should have,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I didn't, and I just didn't feel in that space, right?
Yeah.
So, how was yours?
Mine was good. I hosted the full moon ritual
Right.
releasing party, kind of is what
Mm-hmm.
I called it, just because I wanted to do some dancing and raise some vibrations after. And it was so beautiful. Everybody came and everybody was just very open and loving and supportive. And just everybody, shared their release out loud. And it was just really powerful, as it usually always is.
Yeah.
And then we, yeah, finished the night off by doing a little dance party, just like a song or two, really. And, but I was definitely in my element dancing. I think most
That's
people have never
great.
seen me like that. So it was a lot of fun. And I gifted everybody um, some big, beautiful bottles of moon water and had
Oh,
their names
nice.
attached to it with some real beautiful wooden moon ornaments. And yeah, it was just in some Palo Santo, or I think, no, I did white sage, white candles. I
Oh,
attached
okay.
those to the bottles as well. So yeah, they were just really pretty. So they were really excited
Nice.
about that. And yeah, it was a wonderful, wonderful night. I loved it so much. So
Good.
so glad
I'm
about that.
glad.
Yeah. So it was good. And I know that the full moon is already going to be coming up again as we're just kind of coming out of another retrograde. It's like, oh my gosh. It's
I
like,
know.
I
I
feel like
know.
2021 has definitely felt like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know. I feel like 2020, I was thriving, even though
Yeah,
that
I
was like the
agree.
start of the pandemic.
I
I'm like,
know.
oh my gosh, 2021, I thought, okay, this is great. Let's move forward. But wow, it's just been way harder. I think 2021 has been tough, and I think for everybody. And
Hmm.
I think most people can probably say that too.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with you because last year for me, even though it was the pandemic, I
Mhm.
totally did so much in 2020 and it was my year. But
So thriving.
yeah, and but this year, like I do feel the same in a way with you, but at the same time, I feel like this year totally went faster. Like I
Oh yeah.
cannot believe we are in October. Like I don't even remember. I don't really remember January, February, March, or anything. Like,
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just feels like each month it's just been going quicker and quicker, and
Yeah.
I just can't believe it. Like, I really can't. I
And
like,
flying by.
yeah,
Like I
like
moved into my space in January and it just like from there it's been so fast. I feel like I've been hanging on and it's like I feel like I'm on the roller coaster
yeah, like I
and it
know
hasn't
you,
really been ups and downs. It's just like wee, just
yeah, and
going
like,
through it.
well, even just what you just said, like you just moved into your space in January, and I feel like you moved in there last January. Like it feels like you've
I
already been there forever. Like there's just no, like,
I
I
didn't
don't even know what the
just move
word is.
in.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Like
I'm
I
so
feel like,
settled.
yeah, you're totally settled, which I know like you are, but at the same time, you
Yeah.
just moved in. So it's just like
Yeah.
it feels
It
like
feels
you,
fast.
yeah, yeah. Like, and,
I
yeah.
literally cannot believe it's going to be Christmas soon. I know
Mm-hmm.
like some people get excited and some people are like, oh, but I like Christmas, yes, but I feel like I'm going to blink and we're going to be
Yeah.
there just because of how fast this year has been so
Oh,
far.
well, yeah.
But
Like,
yeah,
like I
I feel
said
like this has
earlier.
been a real changing year for sure. I feel
Yeah.
like I've endured a lot, I've released a lot, I've healed a lot, I've experienced a lot, I've grown a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just been one of the biggest years, and not
Mm-hmm.
in a good or bad way. It's just been a very big year for me, is kind of
Yeah.
how it feels. So
Yeah.
it'll
And
be
that's how,
interesting to see what next year will bring if we go back to the life path number thing and the life cycles. So I'm like,
yeah,
oh gosh.
I
And
know.
it'll be 10 years from, our big 2012 year. That was big for our family. And so I kind
Yeah.
of fall now into that same,
Yeah.
I'm at that same cycle point. So I'm like, oh
I
gosh,
know.
I don't know.
I honestly had to think about it the other
Mm-hmm.
day, actually,
Yeah.
because I had just, like as you know, we just moved. So I ended up meeting a
Yes.
new doctor, and she's, of course, asking me, my questions and my health
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And when I talked about, my collapse in 2012, she
Yeah.
said, yeah, oh, it's going to be coming up 10 years. And I literally didn't even think about it. I just was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, yeah, like 10
I
years.
know.
Like,
Blows my mind.
what?
I know.
And like 10
I
years
know.
for everything else, like, and even with dad
Yeah.
and with even like just other things in our family that happened that year. And it's just, I
It's
can't
crazy.
believe it. 10 years. Like,
Yeah. Just blink.
yeah, yeah,
That's how
exactly.
I feel.
Yeah. And, thank goodness,
Mm-hmm.
other than like the pandemic thing that's going on with everyone, it's not just
Mm-hmm.
specifically us,
Yeah.
but at the same time, thank goodness. And like, I really thank the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, that,
Mm-hmm.
knock on wood type thing, nothing has, happened and like badly in
Yes.
our family. So I'm
In our
very
immediate
super
family.
grateful, and it is coming the 10 years, and so it's
Mm-hmm.
just, yeah, it's just crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It is crazy. So yeah. So on that note,
Yeah.
Shelly and I were discussing, and we had decided that we were going to talk about Halloween, just
Yeah.
because Halloween is coming up right away, and just kind of tying into the full moon and the full moon ritual, things like that.
Hmm.
I actually, when I was teaching last weekend, well, I guess the weekend before our Canadian Thanksgiving.
Right.
I had a student that had asked me, hey, I was really curious. Do you do anything special for Halloween? Do you do any type of ritual or anything like that? And I was like, I felt like I was like dead in my track, like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about Halloween.
Yeah.
And because I had a feeling she probably likes Halloween. So I felt bad. Like I felt like I was just crashing on her joy. Um, but I was like, uh, no, actually, I really don't do any specific rituals other than protecting myself.
Hmm.
Just because the veil is thinner on Halloween for sure.
Yeah.
And but yeah, no, no special ritual, anything like that. And I very much dislike Halloween. So, and there's many reasons why we don't like Halloween. And so Shelly
Yeah.
and I just thought we would share with you all why.
Yeah. Yeah,
Kind
I
of like
agree with
what we
Bev.
do.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with Bev. I am not a fan, never have been
yeah,
of Halloween, and I hope that doesn't offend anybody out there, but at the same time,
yeah,
it's
no,
just something that, like Bev said, like we're it just was never a holiday that we enjoyed. And I'll tell you why. It's because of
yeah,
our religion that we grew up in. We were Jehovah
that's
Witnesses,
right.
as I think we mentioned before. And so we were taught that, Halloween was bad, and there was
Hmm.
evil, and like totally put fear into us about Halloween. Like I could tell you, I'm not joking, like our parents would literally make us hide in the
Yeah,
freaking dark so that, if
yeah,
especially if we didn't go out anywhere, because sometimes we would be out of the house, we'd go do something fun, like we'd go bowling or what have you. But for the most
yeah.
part, we would be in the house and the lights were off, or we stayed in the basement and we would hear constantly the doorbell ringing, and trick or treat and all that stuff. And
Knocking, noise. It's so freaky to sitting in the dark
yeah,
and you're just like, I can't let anybody know I'm here. Like it's almost like
yeah,
that sense, right? It's that scary.
yes,
That's all I remember as a
me
kid. And
too.
you're right. We were in the dark. And even when we lived out of town, our dad worked
Hmm.
night shift a lot. And so he had, we were those people that had tinfoil in the bedroom window,
Yeah.
only in their bedroom.
Yes,
And that's where we,
would
had to
be.
hang out for the entire night. Lights off, everything. Do not go into the kitchen. Don't turn lights on. Like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, it just felt like punishment as a kid. For me, I just felt like I was grounded to the bedroom. Don't go anywhere, can't do anything, just be
Yeah.
quiet, be scared. And unfortunately, we had lots of activity in our house.
Yeah.
So that
So that
really
didn't help.
didn't help. And I mean, activity is in like spirits.
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on. It was really sucky.
Yeah.
And even going back to you talking about like how fear was instilled in us in our religion,
Hmm.
it wasn't even Halloween fear.
No.
It was just like every holiday was deemed not good or
Right.
evil, or
Yes. Yeah.
we just didn't participate in anything.
No.
Like I couldn't
And
even participate in Christmas concerts at the school, like
we couldn't
singing
even
carols
sing.
or
Yeah, I was gonna say we couldn't even sing "Oh Canada." Like
yeah,
literally, we did not. We weren't allowed.
yeah,
And yeah, like we didn't
so
celebrate
crazy.
birthdays. And I agree with Bev, like what she said in the beginning about the student asking her, and feeling that she was crushing on her,
It's
joy.
so
But
bad.
we can't help it. Like I have a hard time with my birthday. I just had my birthday,
Mhm.
and I just find it's just a regular day. Because of how we grew up. We did not celebrate these things. And so when we did get a chance to celebrate, it doesn't feel, in my opinion, I don't know about
Yeah,
Bev, but
yeah,
for me, it just never felt like, yay, it's my birthday. Yeah, like something to
yeah,
celebrate. It's always been like, yeah, okay, it's my birthday. Like, who cares?
yeah,
Like, and it's
yeah,
sad, I know, but at the same time, it is to me just another day, and I can't
yeah,
help that because we grew up that way.
yeah,
And
for
then,
sure.
like with Bev even saying about Halloween, yes, like I said earlier, we were always hid in the dark, and so I didn't feel that it was like a punishment, but for me, what it was like I felt like if we, left the room or went to the kitchen or like sneakily, like, to go
Yeah.
get something, it felt like we were doing something bad, even
Hmm.
doing that,
Yeah.
and it just, I don't know how to explain it. It almost gave me like anxiety. And I had mentioned this to somebody earlier that, we grew up in a
Hmm.
household with a lot of anxiety, and it has a
Yeah.
lot to do with, with that religion, because we were instilled fear of everything.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to do this and we weren't allowed to do that. And we didn't celebrate this because of this and because of that. It just was
Oh.
on and on and on. And
Hmm.
so when it came to Halloween, yeah, I was scared of Halloween because it
Yeah.
was,
Me too.
you
Well, and
know,
part of that punishment, I feel like for me, because you and Keith are much older than I am,
yes,
for
hmm,
me, it was like all my friends already at that point loved Halloween. It was so
right.
fun.
Hmm.
So for me, it was just like, it felt like punishment in that way that I couldn't participate. Like I couldn't do
Yeah,
anything fun. It was just like,
I guess so.
another
Yes,
thing I can't
yes.
do, right? But I have to say, um, because unfortunately, our dad is no longer here
Right.
on earth with us. So I feel like I can spill the beans. But one year, our mom did let us
Hmm.
dress up and experience Halloween.
Yep.
So she took us and got some costumes or tried, or we did some makeshift costumes or
Yep.
something. I
Yep.
remember checking some out, and
Hmm.
I got to go with my girlfriend and experience what it was like to trick or treat. And that I felt joy in, that felt fun, but I was also scared because it was
Yeah.
like, I was always told that this was bad and
Yes.
dad didn't know. And so I was breaking
Hmm.
the rules,
Yeah.
per se. And I remember dressing up as a princess because I literally remember having a pencil wand with like a star eraser on it. And I remember putting foil around the
Yeah. I
pencil part.
remember.
So
Yeah.
I remember being a princess, but, and then we couldn't keep the candy
No.
because we couldn't be caught with the candy. So, we
Hmm.
just handed over the candy to our friends. But, I have to say, I mean, at least mom gave us that opportunity. I felt really grateful for that,
Yeah.
in that
Yes.
sense. So
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I remember that too. And I, I remember, like, I don't even
I
remember what I dressed up as.
did you
Maybe
trick
I
or
was,
treat?
I did once.
Because I
Yeah,
know
I
you guys are
did.
older than me. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
did
you did
once.
do that.
But I didn't, like, it wasn't that mom took us. Like, we
No,
just,
no. She
you
was just like,
know,
go ahead,
yeah, like she
go
she
do it.
let yeah, like I went with some of my friends, and I think I even dressed
Yeah.
up as a witch. It was like like I just put makeup on and whatever. But I will tell you, I felt the same way. It felt fun but weird and like
Yeah.
scary because I was like, I'm doing something wrong. It
Yeah.
like I know it wasn't wrong, but it was wrong because
In our
in
household,
our
it was wrong.
household. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I felt real bad actually.
Hmm.
And um, I remember getting the candy and all that. And like, because I got to stay at my friends, and I remember dad specifically saying, like, you don't go out and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, sorry, dad, but I lied. Yes, I went out and I got
I
candy,
know.
but at the same time, I remember going through the candy bag and thinking to
Hmm.
myself, wow, like, look at all this candy. But at the same time, it was like, okay, I can't take this home. Like, I
Mm-mm.
can't. Like,
No
there's no way I'm
way.
taking this home because I'm going to get in
No.
trouble, right? And my
Yeah.
dad and our dad would
Well,
say,
and
like, where did you get this or whatever, right? So I remember giving it
yeah.
to my friends. But yeah, it was even like it's no different than our first time celebrating Christmas, on our own.
Hmm.
It was the
Yeah,
same
that's true.
feeling, the same feeling as any other thing that we ended up getting to celebrate, right? It was
Yeah.
just never been the same. And Halloween, I mean,
Yeah.
we've had dress up, we've had
We've
parties, we've
had
gone,
parties.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've gone to parties, and that's fun. But when
Yeah.
it came to actual Halloween, it
Yeah.
wasn't that fun.
No, I agree. I mean, there are fun things about Halloween for
Yes.
sure.
Hmm.
And that I do like. But I like the fun things, the positive things about Halloween. I don't particularly like the darker side of Halloween
Right.
because there are definitely, you know, um, I want to say like there are definitely some people out there that really love Halloween in a like the yucky way. That's what I would call it. I don't know
We'll
how else
just, no, let's just call it like,
to me
I
it's
don't even
like
know what to call, like, I don't want to say it's dark, but I mean,
no,
there are dark, like
it's the
this.
real scary stuff. I'll
Yeah.
go with the scary, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
the scary things.
Because,
I'm
like,
just
I
not into
remember,
that
like, what you said, even
that stuff.
like, yeah, like when you even said earlier about how, we grew up in a household with spirits around. So it didn't help with Halloween
Hmm.
either, right? And like Bev
Mm-mm.
said earlier, like the veil
No.
is thinner that night. And so, I remember my first, like, actual first, I know I mentioned about my skeleton story in
Yeah.
a couple previous episodes, but my very
Yeah.
first Halloween experience, like scary experience, was with my brother, like our brother
Yeah.
Keith, and we were in the basement of the home and dark, da da da. And that
Yeah.
night, we were on bunk beds, and he was at the top, I believe. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was either at the top bunk or I was. I don't remember who was where, but I do remember that night. And like, it's going to sound weird to some people, but
Of course, way out there.
way out there. But I do remember, so, like, in basements, they had the small, like, little windows, because back
Yeah.
then houses had small windows in the basement. And I remember in this room, we're laying there and we're trying to go to sleep, but it is, and I want to say that it was not late, but it could have been. I don't remember. I just remember it being
Mhm.
completely dark. And we did have a night light because we were afraid of the dark, Keith and
Of
I.
course.
And so we did have a night light. And I remember the night light, but I don't know if I was speaking to Keith or whatever it was. And I remember looking towards the window. For some reason, I just looked at the window, and we didn't even close the curtains. And that's part of the reason why I like my curtains closed at night
And the door
and the
closed.
doors. but, um, but I remember looking over at the window, and I said to Keith, I remember saying, "Do you see that?" And all of a sudden, I saw three little figures, and they looked like goblins at first. And I thought, oh, it's
Yep.
just probably some kids outside. But then I got thinking, well, no, because the window was facing the backyard and it's fenced and what have you, not thinking like anybody would really be in our backyard. But I
Right.
remember thinking, oh my God, there's some goblins or something. But as
Yeah.
soon as I said that, and Keith was kind of like, I think he was sort of half awake, or if he was awake with me, and I think he agreed with me. And then all of a sudden, bam, it was like all of a sudden something flew through the window into the room above the ceiling, and it was like a witch. And I remember screaming because I was like,
Oh
oh my
God.
God, there's this thing flying in the room.
Oh
And
my
that was our
God.
first, and I remember screaming. And I remember dad, because like dad could sort of like, dad was hard of hearing for those
Yes.
that didn't know. And like our mom is fully deaf, so she did
Yeah.
not hear me, but my our dad did. And I remember him coming to the room,
Yeah.
and he flicked on the light. Of course, it's gone. When he
Yeah.
did that, and he's like, "What's the matter?" And I remember crying, and Keith is
Oh.
scared, and we're both scared because we just saw this thing flying, and yes, I'm pretty sure he was the one at the top of the bunk, because
Yeah.
I remember him saying, like, even just having it above, like flying above him,
Close to
he
him.
was,
Oh
yeah.
gosh.
And so it was really scary. And so after that, we were 5 and 4, I'm sure,
Yeah.
or 4 and 3.
Oh
And
boy.
yeah. And so that was our
That's
first
terrible.
experience of our kind of like Halloween spirit, if you
Yeah.
want to call it, and or ghost, whatever. That's what we used to
Hmm.
say. And scared the bejesus out of us. We were scared of
Oh,
Halloween
I'm sure.
forever
I
after
would be too.
that.
I'd be like, no, I will just go hide away. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't like Halloween for that either. I mean,
No.
all I can recall is um, you know, seeing actual spirits,
Yeah. Yeah.
earthbound spirits, right?
Yeah.
Like people stuck here. That's the
Hmm.
spirits that I saw. And there
Yeah.
was always something going on all the time with spirits on Halloween. And I was just like, oh, and it's just like you can feel them around you.
Hmm.
And it just feels like you get crowded or bombarded by
Yeah.
energies and spirits. And I just, nah. But
Yeah.
the kids, I've never liked Halloween, and the kids have always, I felt bad for them
Yeah.
because I've embraced every other holiday with the kids, Easter,
Hmm.
and Christmas and the Tooth Fairy, that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. But Halloween, I was like, ugh, like why?
Yeah.
But I tried, they
Hmm.
wanted to decorate the house, so we decorate, but make it more like fall like or Halloween, and dressing up and
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. And
Yeah.
so now I've tried to embrace it and to be happy about it in that
Hmm.
sense of like engaging and handing out candy and all that sort of stuff. But when it comes to the very end of the night and it's time for me to go to bed, that's typically when I'm, practicing putting on, extra protection,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I just want to get through the night quickly.
Yep.
And it's just become November the 1st, because
Yep.
I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
so I'm not quite there, but
Yeah. Well,
in a
and you were
lot of
just
ways
saying
I
like
am.
about how the student asked you if you did any rituals and stuff, and
Yeah.
I don't want to say that I did a ritual or I do a ritual, per se, but
Yeah.
like ever since I was a child with
Hmm.
Halloween and with the experiences that I've
Yeah.
had because they were so fear-based and stuff like that, I would intentionally make sure that I was extra protected,
Yeah.
that night for sure.
Hmm.
Sometimes I would feel it, the day before or the day after, depending on how strong, like if it's a full moon or even
Yeah.
a new moon, but at the same time, yeah, I always put or try to put extra protection or ask my guides or, you know, uh,
Yeah.
angels at that time. I think I used to remember praying to or whatever, but I
Yeah.
do remember doing it all the time. It was something that I just did because it
Yeah.
was just a holiday that I did not look forward to. I just did not.
Hmm.
So, and I
Yeah.
agree with you. Like our kids, they participated in all of the holidays. And I
Hmm.
honestly don't know if they even noticed that I didn't care for Halloween. They probably did, but
Probably.
at the same time, like I would feel the same way as you. I did try my best, but it
Yeah.
just wasn't. It's just not a holiday that I ever really enjoyed, and it sucks
No.
sometimes because I
Yeah, I know. And I feel like even if I tried, because like even now I'm like seeing people's yards all decorated. And I'm like, that's so fun. Like to me, there's so much fun about it.
yeah,
But at the same time, I'm like, oh, if I do that, I feel like it's just not authentic.
right,
Like I
yes,
feel like it's just phony. And I'm just like, because I always strive to be my authentic self. And
yeah,
that's why it's like, oh, if I could just get to that point, I feel like that would be so awesome. And maybe I
yeah,
will some point in my life. I feel like it's something I'm working towards
mm,
constantly.
yeah,
But I just feel like right at this point in my life, I'm just still not there, and I can't even lie about it. And that's why I said to my student, like, I'm sorry. Like, I hope I didn't like just, take you down and crush like any joy you had, or, because it felt like she was really excited to hear like
yeah,
my take, because I deal with spirit all the time. And I was
exactly,
just like, no, it's not my thing. And I'm sorry,
yeah,
but she was like, that's okay. I was just curious. And I get that for sure. But
yeah,
yeah, I just, it doesn't feel right, doesn't feel real to me yet. And so maybe one day
mm-hmm,
I can,
yeah, yeah,
authentically say, I love it, and
yeah,
just do
yeah,
the things,
yeah,
and we'll see. But for the most part now, it's just doing what I can, and enjoying it for what it is, for where I'm at this point in my life.
right,
And that's
exactly,
basically
yep,
and kind of doing some protection at bedtime throughout the day. I mean,
yep,
I ground and protect myself at the beginning of every day anyway, so it's just something
right,
I practice. But before I go to sleep, definitely on that night, I'm just definitely asking the angels to come in, hold me in love and light,
yep,
just keep me safe and protected, and just don't
yep,
want any intruders, so to speak, or
mm-hmm,
any experiences
yep,
that are, you know, um, unpleasant experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
I just want to have a good sleep and
yeah.
let's just move on. So
Hmm.
that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah.
So
Well, I do
I'm
have to say,
sorry.
like, I agree with you about like looking at, different houses and neighbors and who
Mhm.
do, decorate their homes. And I will have to say, the one by
Yep.
you in Martinsville, I think is awesome. I love
Oh,
how they change the theme
every
each.
week.
Yeah, it is so cool what they
It's
do.
so, yeah.
I love it. And,
Yeah.
that part, it's just like, yay, like I think that's
Yeah.
fun,
So
but,
cool. Yeah, they
uh,
have like these skeletons and it's like skeletons and dog skeletons and a big
yeah.
T-Rex one. And they create all these scenes every year, every week. They start early and you drive by. But they sold their house this
Oh,
year. I know we were all sad. I was like, what? Their house is up for sale. We were so sad. Then when it sold, which it
yeah.
sold pretty quickly, I'd have to say, they put a big sign up on their lawn and they said, don't worry, we're just moving to whatever the address is in Martinsville to another house. So you can still see
Oh,
us at Halloween. And I was like,
yay.
so they must have known that people loved it and were
Yes.
sad when they were leaving us. But it was
Yeah.
so great. So
Oh,
we still
that's
get to see it.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Like I'm not joking. Like if anybody is listening and they are in Bev's area, you have
Yeah.
to know this house and you
I'm
have to
sure
go
they
by it.
do.
Yeah, it's just so awesome.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's
great.
just so
Yeah.
much fun to watch their, scenes
And
and
like I love all of that, like
mhm.
seeing people like just go all out. I think it's amazing in their
Yeah.
imagination and I'm just
Yes.
fascinated by it. And I'm
Yeah.
just that's where I wish I could just I'd love to do that, but I'm
Yeah.
just not that person, but I
Well,
really appreciate the people that do it, not
for
so
sure.
much the haunted houses,
I
I
was
have to
just going to
say.
say, I do have something to say about that because I was going to say, I am not a fan of haunted houses. Sorry out there. I do not. I will, I'm going to quickly
Clearly
say
based
this.
on our stories, this is why. So hopefully there's some understanding.
I know because 2 years ago when we were able to travel, we went to PEI to visit Dwayne's brother Dana, and he told me that there was this house
Oh
that
gosh.
was, it was like a haunted
Real
house.
haunted?
But okay, but that's what I thought it was. I thought it was a real haunted, like actual
Yeah, like
spirits.
real spirits. Yeah.
Yes. So I was like, yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in. I want to go to
Of
this
course you
place.
are,
Yeah, I was
because you
totally
love
like,
cemeteries.
yeah, I do. I
Of
do.
course you would love that.
So I was super excited. I was like, yes, we're going to go to this haunted house. Yeah, yeah. I was so excited. We
So
get to the
fun.
place, and honest to God, Bev, like, it was like, yeah, this house. I could imagine what the freaking spirits would be like in this thing. Like, I
Oh
kid you
gosh.
not. So we get up there and we walk in, and it's not a haunted house that I'm thinking of. It's an actual, like, jump out and scare
Somebody,
you kind of
oh,
haunted house.
like at the carnival. Oh gosh.
Yes. So I
I don't
looked
like
at
that.
Dwayne and I looked at Dana and I was like, I can't
No.
do this. So then,
No
get
way.
this. So we
Bye.
go in and Dwayne's like, "Oh, come on, we can do this. And you can do this. You can be." And I was like, already my anxiety was like from 0 to 1,000, and I was like, I have to go to the bathroom first. So I go to the bathroom. And then I come back and Dwayne's like, okay, you ready to go? And I was like, so I go ask the ladies, I'm like, if I can't handle it, is there exits? And she goes, oh yeah,
Get
there
out.
is. And I was like, okay, good. So we start to go. And I'm not joking. I probably only made it in one room
Oh
before I went,
geez.
see ya. And I went out the exit. And they went through. So Dana and Sue and Dwayne went through the whole thing, and I'm standing outside
Oh
waiting for them. I was like, there is no way. Nope,
no.
I
No.
couldn't.
You're like, I lived in this. I don't need to relive my childhood. This
Yeah,
is not fun. I
no.
need therapy.
And poor honestly, I felt bad because I know Dana was like excited for us to go to this haunted house and everything, but I just could not handle it. I honestly
It's
thought it was
okay.
a haunted house with spirits, like actual
To stand
spirits.
around,
Yeah.
feel what's going on, see if someone's going to connect with us. Yeah, I would rather do that. And maybe that's more freaky or scary for other people, but to me,
But it
like
is
that's
not for
comforting.
me.
I don't like the scary
I
jump
don't.
out.
To me,
I just,
that's
I live my life in a lot of fear and anxiety already that I just don't need to put myself in situations where I think that that's fun to be scared.
exactly. That's why it was like, I'm out. Like
No.
I can't even remember what jumped out, and I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I went out.
One jump, I'm
One
over
jump, and I was out. Yeah. Oh my God. But
Oh
like I
gosh.
said, I did feel bad, but at the same time, it just wasn't for me. I
Okay.
honestly thought it was a spirit haunted
Yeah.
house because
I'm sure
those are my
Dana,
kind of things. And I know he
yeah,
understood, but at the same time, it was
totally.
just like he was super excited to take us to this place, and I
Oh,
was
I can
I was pumped
imagine.
too, but I was thinking the other, not thinking
The other
that this
way.
was a jump one. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
Oh,
it was fun though. It was an experience, that's for sure. And I'm not
yeah.
joking. If anybody is in PEI, I can't remember exactly where it is, but it is. If you've seen the house, Bev, you would be like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, it's creepy." Like
Oh,
it's
joy.
creepy, but it's just like it totally
Yeah.
would be that type of home. Like, oh man, yeah. I wish it kind of was. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Well,
type.
that's like when we take family holiday trips, when we're
Yeah.
driving or whatever, and there's this one house. Oh, I can't even, it's on the way to Lethbridge. Oh, outside Leader, I believe, outside Leader somewhere.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's Leader. And far in the distance off the highway is this old
Barn
rundown.
house.
No, I don't know. It was like, it's not really a barn house, but it's an old house. Like it reminds me of more like a Southern home, like
Okay.
way back in the day with the shutters on the
Hmm.
window. It kind of looks like that style of home, two-story.
Okay.
It's abandoned. Every time we drive by it, it's like I once when we first drove by it once, and I had a vision of what had happened in that house, and I was like, oh. And so every time we drive by it, I get the same creepy vibes. And Chris always asks me, we should go there sometime. Why don't you just tell me what happened? I'm like, no, I don't want to go to that house ever. That is one of those, probably those houses,
Okay.
a real haunted house. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I know you won't be traveling that way anymore, but
No.
if I had known and we had this conversation earlier before
We
you
should.
moved,
We could have gone there. I would have
I,
loved
sup-
to.
I suppose we could if we ever really wanted to do an episode
We
on
could
haunted
do, yeah, I was
houses.
gonna say we could do like a travel one, you know?
Yes, we could. We're
Yeah,
traveling around all these
yeah,
houses. Oh my
exactly.
gosh. But
Yeah,
anyway, so yeah, so that's our take
yeah,
on Halloween and
hmm,
kind of our experiences
yeah,
and I don't know, our feels, I guess,
yeah, yeah,
and why, and
yeah.
so hopefully, um there's no offense taken to anybody,
Yes, yeah.
but that's
This
just
is,
based on our experience and just kind of how we feel. And, we're doing our best. So
yep.
hopefully we can meet all of you Halloween lovers to where you're at someday. I think that would
Hmm.
be amazing to get there,
Yes,
but
yeah.
I think it'll happen eventually. I'm sure
Yeah,
I'll get
yeah, and
there.
like Bev
So,
said, yeah, like Bev said too, like this is just on our own experiences and why we
mhm.
don't, necessarily, I don't want to say we hate Halloween, we just don't.
Nah, it's not
It's
my
just not
favorite.
one of our
That's
favorite
all.
things. And, there's lots of people that actually hate it and that love it. And great,
Yeah.
power to you. But this is just our experiences. And I hope we didn't offend
Totally.
anybody and enjoyed our
No.
conversation on it and stuff. And yeah,
Yeah.
so thank you so
Yeah,
much
it was so
for
awesome. Yeah.
tuning
Thank
into
you for
the,
listening.
yeah, tuning in and sending you guys love and light and gratitude
Yes.
wherever this may find you guys.
Yes. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys. Take care, everybody.